And in fact, I'm happy for it, because if I wanted to see like a 1-to-1 remake, I would just play the original game. Personally. So, I like them changing some stuff up.
Yeah, and there's some moments of this where I wish it was a 1-by-1 remake, but overall, I'm still pretty happy that it's changing a lot of stuff, because it's interesting. Like, Part 3, at this point, I'm like, you know, like, the basic beats it's going to go through, but there's a lot that they can do.
Must have sucked. But what about Sephiroth? What happened to him?
But there are some things that they change that I think are way worse in this game. But some moments are actually better.
I'm excited to find out. Yo, Red was asleep the whole time. That's very rude.
Red just doesn't care.
He's like my granddad. Oh, I heard Bugenhagen sucks. that like, I don't know, I just briefly saw someone where someone was like, what actually is his problem?
They kind of make the Research Society and the Cosmo Canyon and Bugenhagen kind of be like hippies. I mean, they're hippies in the original game, but they really want to basically not fight for the planet because they like fully believe that the planet can protect itself, but that's definitely not the case.
I mean, I guess they're hippies in like the full sense of the word, but not in our society, if that makes sense.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but
yeah, that's fine. But no, I'm talking.
I think Bugenhagen is fine.
I'm talking in the original. They're more hippies of we love the planet, and not like our version of the Woodstock hippies.
But like when the main gang are like, we should fight for the planet, then Bugenhagen gets kind of mad.
Interesting.
Shinra Manor was the biggest building in town, and older than the reactor. The company used to conduct research there, back when they were still a small manufacturer.
Dude, Shinra, I love one of the things I love about these remakes is they make Shinra so much bigger and badder. You know, like yes, there's the Shinra Manor in the first one, but like this one, they're like, hey, this whole big thing, we just pretty much just did evil experiments, and they like go into it more and more.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Shinra literally like toppled basically the government and the Republic, and clearly there's a reason why they are so powerful.
I mean, Mayor Domino is just. I mean, they say it in both games, but he's just a placeholder. Yeah, you know.
He has absolutely no power.
Like, imagine like the mayor of New York just being like, "Oh, I have no power because I don't know."
Was news to me too.
Because
let's say the mayor of Seattle, is like, "Oh, Amazon's here. Like, I don't have any power because it's."
Yeah, Amazon runs this city now.
Right.
So I'm just.
I couldn't think. It's weird. I couldn't think of any like super huge business that's in New York. Maybe Blackstone or something like that. I don't know.
The New York Power Company.
Yeah, New York Power.
A city utility.
The NYPC. That dang New York Power Company.
Genova. Verified as an ancient.
Because things. I mean, Shinra is literally a power company, but things are like worse because they're like, we're getting into a whole bunch of different stuff. It's like no. That's how Umbrella happened in Resident Evil. We're pharmaceuticals and also weaponry. It's like,
Speaking of, I swear I saw a white gold vase in the Shinra Manor, and I was like, I need to take my knife out and slash it, and maybe there will be handgun bullets inside. I was going to point it out, but you guys were having...
I'm so sorry.
No, you were talking about things that were relevant, and I was just like, hey, that looks like that thing from another game.
Speaking of remakes, they're going to announce the RE5 remake in the next 6 months. You know it.
No, it's going to be
Code
Veronica.
E3's not a thing anymore, so when do games get announced? Just
they all just do it.
Randomly on Capcom's Direct? What's it going to be, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time or something?
Capcom doesn't even do that. They'll probably just announce it on Twitter some random day.
No, they'll do it with like Xbox or PlayStation. Whatever.
Yeah, PlayStation Showcase.
Or Tokyo Game Show, stuff like
State
that.
of Play.
E3 was cringe, but it was cool to like know when to expect news. literally Nintendo has directs, and like I don't know about it until I see Tyler usually post about it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, Nintendo had a direct. Like, I know I'm not like the most in tune with it, but it's still like, it's literally always like a Tuesday at like 9 a.m. Eastern time. I'm like, okay, what are you doing?
And clearly E3 died because having every single big game announcement happen within the span of 3 days is horrible for the actual game company.
I totally get that.
They're competing against each other, and they probably have to pay like the E3 venue like $1 billion to be there. And they have to pay so much and then compete with everyone else, and it gets all muddied. It's really nice for obviously the consumer.
How can you read that? Those weren't even letters.
I just miss it because it was a time to get excited. I remember the last PlayStation showcase. I didn't know about it till it was literally happening, and I think RJ was like, oh, I'm watching the showcase, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll put it on. And I caught the Silent Hill 2 gameplay, and I turned it off.
And so I dubbed her Genova.
The Silent Hill 2 Resident Evil 4 gameplay.
After playing Blooper Team's most recent game, I think it's their most recent game, The Medium, the game was fine. It wasn't bad, but the main character talked like a millennial who thought she was way smarter than she was, and I don't want to hear James or Angela, or especially Maria, talk like that, and I just know it's going to happen. Sorry, Ben. It's gonna happen.
I'm just thinking that if I'm Cloud, I'm gonna give this guy, some room.
Nah, you should probably get up in
that's
his face.
fine.
There was a scene in that game, Ben, where she gets a pair of bolt cutters, because every horror game has to have bolt cutters, right? I know, it's ridiculous. And she uses them, and she says something along the lines of bolt cutters. Bolt cutters. That sounds like a good superhero name. I'm Bolt Cutters. And she goes on like that for like 45 seconds, and I'm like, alright, I'm about to drop this game. Yeah, I'm very close to dropping this game.
I was about to say I'd uninstall it.
That sounds very Ricky Morty.
And if Maria's the only character that actually, like, in Silent Hill 2, like, has a personality like that, but if she, like, quips with James, I'm gonna uninstall the game and return it to my own store. I'm just gonna bring it in, hand it to myself, and say, I'd like to return this, sir.
That's great. There's no way they'd do that. They'd ruin the tone like that drastically.
Sure, Ben.
There's no way.
Well, Konami doesn't give a crap.
If I had.
Oh, yeah, it raises a good point.
Konami has been so... I'll put it this way. Konami has been doing so little recently that people are starting to unironically kind of like Homecoming and Downpour. Like, it's weird. I'm seeing a lot more people on YouTube being like, yeah, Homecoming's, like, not that bad. It's, like, whatever. And I'm like, no, Homecoming is actually that bad.
It's bad.
Downpour, I will say, isn't the most awful. But I've always felt that, even from the day it came out.
I don't remember. I never even played it. I'm not even sure if I watched you, like, complete it.
So what's Sephiroth been up to? Seems like he took, like, a knock on the head or something.
So Cloud just hurt his leg slightly, which is gonna make this part a lot slower.
So this part's could be cool, but I feel like I'm playing, like, Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted.
I just wish he didn't...
No!
Yep.
I wish he didn't limp at 1.1 mile per hour.
I get it. What they're saying is you want to take in the scene and realize everything that's going on. You're going very slow, so all these NPCs can, like, do their own thing, and you can... But it's like...
And the worst part about this is that when you're replaying it, you notice when I push start, it just goes to the menu. I can't skip it.
Yeah, this should be skippable.
That's why I hate these walkie-talkie parts in any game, because they're never
It's
skippable.
not a cutscene. It's not an actual cutscene, right.
Also, I liked when gate, collapsed on you.
Dude, even games that shouldn't
You
have...
are not burned at all.
shouldn't have walkie-talkie cutscenes. Like, Resident Evil 3 Remake has a couple walkie-talkie cutscenes, and I'm like, no!
You can skip them.
The craziest thing about...
Yeah, you can.
So the thing about those...
Where you're following Carlos and everything? You can actually skip that?
Yeah, you can skip them.
You can skip the radio ones, but you can't skip the ones where you're physically following Carlos.
That's what I meant.
Oh. Well, no, that...
There's a couple of them.
Okay, because you're literally talking to Carlos on a walkie-talkie at points.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about when you're with him physically.
Yeah, sorry, I just call them walkie-talkie parts.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Oh, okay, I get that. Sorry. Yeah, no, you know what I mean, like,
It's not that
For the folks out there, we mean when you're following a character and they're moving at slow speeds, and that's their exposition dump.
And you are...
not actually talking on walkie-talkies.
Inexplicably unable to walk in front of them.
And I think the moment that I noticed it the most is that in God of War 2018, there's a point where you have to pick up this, like, animal that someone else just killed, and you have to take it all the way back to her, like, home. And you just have to walk the entire way. And it's obviously just a really cheap, like, cutscene, because they want to do the dialogue, but they don't want to, like, spend the money or resources to, like, fully...
He's fine.
They don't want to spend the resources to fully animate it, so that's why they do these, like... But, like, then you can't skip it.
So one of the weird things about everything being online gaming and all that nowadays, or, like, connected to the internet, is a lot of companies will use playtime as something
the security officer saying,
Who could that be?
And they're going into Cloud's house. I wonder who that is.
That's crazy.
So a lot of times for single-player games, they will literally be like... Ubisoft will be like, our games are played 50 hours on average, and they'll use that to show their investors. So that's a reason why a lot of game development nowadays purposely takes longer. You know what I mean? Like those walkie-talkies and stuff. They want you to play the game longer so they can say, by our records, people played FF7 Remake on average 30 hours, or Assassin's Creed Valhalla 70 hours, so they can go to their investors and be like, see, people are playing our games.
And the craziest thing about the newest Assassin's Creed games is that they have, like, this level system, and being under-leveled is just gonna, like, instantly kill you to, like, anything. So they'll usually, like, do a story cutscene, like, you might be at level 10, and the next story segment's level 15. But if you go straight to it, you're just gonna get BTFO and die. There's just no way you can possibly win. So instead, what you have to do is do a bunch of side quests to get, like, a very marginal amount of XP. So it's like, okay, we have to do 3 hours of side quests now. Oh wait, they all suck. But they also sell in the cash shop.
Yep.
They can sell XP boosters.
We need a crawling segment!
In a way, it's brilliant. Because the longer you're playing the game, the better chance you have of buying something in the cash shop.
Make it less boring. It's so ridiculous.
Right. I'm not saying it's good, but it's brilliant. Like if your goal is to make money, it's brilliant.
Yeah, if you're a soulless corporation like Ubisoft that only cares about money, that is the perfect way to do it.
And it's just great because even if you don't make a lot of money in your cash shop, you go to your investors and be like, "Hey, they're playing our game for 80 hours on average, so the cash shop stuff's coming, man." And it's like,
yeah,
holy
investors
crap.
will like love that too.
So are you gonna ramp off that or something?
I think eventually Cloud just, like, writes himself.
Really, all things considered, everything ever done by any business should consider the investors first, and not the consumers. I mean, when I make a game, I'm like, what would the investors want?
So the craziest thing is that Warner Brothers, last year they released Hogwarts Legacy, which, like, sold ridiculously well.
Oh, man.
It's a single-player game that sold, like, 25 million copies across all platforms. It was just an unprecedented success. But then this year they released Suicide Squad, which was, like, a giga flop. It has, like, horrendous player numbers, but it's a live service game. And just recently, Warner Brothers did an interview. It's like, in the future, we're going to do more live service games. Right after Suicide Squad flopped. It's like, are you kidding me?
I think they even went on to say. I think they even went on to say that they want all their games to be live service in some way.
They probably made literally like $2 billion off of Hogwarts Legacy alone. And instead they look at this Suicide Squad game that has literally under 1,000 players on like Steam like player like numbers, which is just a horrendous amount of players for like, you know, a live service game that they want to have players forever. Anyway, let's pay attention to...
It's the scene.
It's the scene.
So cool. Sephiroth!
Hey, at least Sephiroth decided not to kill Cloud. Remember in part 1 where they do this in the first 2 hours out of nowhere?
Yeah, you like are in the first part of Midgar and they have him do that.
And they were just like, we have to have this super iconic part, so let's just put it in there. It's just Cloud's hallucination.
Dad and I had gone there to hide.
There's a big thing going on right now with Dragon's Dogma 2. It's not live service, but apparently there's a lot of microtransaction stuff. And people are like, but why? Apparently there's a microtransaction to like change your character's looks or something.
Actually, if you like spec into a character and you're just like testing stuff around, you only get one save file and you can't reset it. And they charge $2 for you to reset it.
I don't get it.
So if you're just like playing the game and you're just like, okay, I'm trying this rogue character and he ends up sucking, you're screwed unless you pay $2.
I can't imagine they make more money from that than from the outcry of people being upset and not buying the game.
And like Capcom's been really good, so hopefully
Capcom over the past since RE7 has been really good.
I just hope Capcom, because these companies always operate in cycles where they get really greedy and complacent and think they can get away with everything, which, you know, like when they were doing like the Street Fighter Cross Tekken like day 1 DLC, like $200 of DLC on disc for a game like that, and then they started losing money hand over fist because no one wanted to buy their games anymore because they were junk. And then once they were almost bankrupt, they're like, okay, we have to start like really focusing again and make good games. And then they revived themselves of RE7, and then the next like 7 years they just made good games again. But they might be in the cycle, or the part of the cycle where they're just complacent and greedy again.
Dude, Capcom in the early 2010s was like bad. Even when they came out with good games like Azura's Wrath, they did like really poorly.
Azura's Wrath, literally, you have to buy the ending. It's not on the disc.
Oh my god. Ooh. Also, oh my god to that. It's so cool.
Is she okay?
She'll be fine.
We don't know that.
Her hat. I didn't realize that. Does that mean you can't? I assume the DLC doesn't exist anymore. Does that mean you can't beat that game?
I guess so.
So weird. Yeah, they had a lot of games that looked pretty cool, but just did so financially poor. I think they did Never Dead too. That might.
Never Dead's definitely Konami.
Oh, Konami. Okay.
They did Remember Me. Remember?
That's the one I was thinking of.
Remember Me.
No, I mean the only reason I remember it is I work at a game store and I see it once in a while. Other than that, I do not remember.
It gets traded in like probably like twice a year, and it's still like $8 because no one cares.
Yeah, it was weird. They really did poorly back then. So I hope this isn't a sign of things to come. I mean, RE4 had some DLC, but you could just or some cash shop stuff, but you could just earn it, which is what I did.
I don't think it'll ever be as bad as Capcom in like the year 2010, because at the time Inafune was like head of product like management or something, and he was really pushing like Western developed games, like outsourcing stuff.
That's right.
Which is why they made like Dark Void and Remember Me.
Bionic Commando? That was a little bit before that.
Bionic Commando. But like when they all flopped and like they were just like Capcom was nearly bankrupt. Before RE7. It was ridiculous.
That's amazing to think of a company that made so many bangers for like 30 years. Like, I guess it just goes to show you anyone can fail.
And it can't be understated how much, I mean, RE7 literally saved Capcom as a company.
Yeah, that's why they call it Final Biohazard.
Is that what it's called again?
Like,
oh. No, since it's called Resident Evil Biohazard in America, they called it Biohazard in Japan.
That's crazy.
And I based that on absolutely nothing.
No, actually, they did it. So all the Biohazard games are just called Biohazard in Japan, but RE7, because it was like Resident Evil Biohazard in America, what they did in Japan was literally Biohazard Resident Evil.
You killed my mom.
I'm not even kidding.
You killed Tifa. My village. My home.
Yo.
Not gonna lie, Sephiroth's mom kind of nice with it.
Yo.
You know? Fellas?
Okay, Ben, anything with a pulse.
So the thing about...
Actually, I don't even know if Genova has a pulse! Yo, I will say one thing. The reveal in the live stream in the first game when you figure out what happens is like top 10 moments in all of gaming ever.
Yeah.
It's the way they do it, the way they drip feed and everything. It's literally just the coolest thing humanly possible.
And the way that it ends, and I mean, they do it the same here, but the way it ends just like here without it resolving, you're like, what? How does Cloud not remember what happened after this?
Cloud, I literally don't remember. What? Like, what if Ben was telling the coolest story of all time, and then he got to the conclusion, and we're like, and what happened? I don't remember. I'd be like, F you, Ben. Why would you even start telling this story if you don't remember the cool ending of it? Oh, man.
But as we know, what actually happens is that's Zack, and he goes up to attack Sephiroth, and literally just gets stabbed and tossed aside, and then Cloud comes in while Sephiroth has his back turned, and then he's the one who finishes him off, and Sephiroth like basically dies. It's so cool.
So Tifa really screwed things up by bringing his sword up to him.
Yeah.
It's really all her fault when you think about it.
Although Cloud ultimately uses the Masamune as the weapon to kill Sephiroth.
Does that make me a dumbass?
Yes.
I didn't say that.
That's right.
Yo, look at that gun! Is that the missing score?
What?
On Barrett's arm.
Oh yeah, that's his, I think it's called I forget what it's called, Monocannon or something.
No missing score yet.
Yeah, no missing score.
Whatever happened, he's alive.
Just like part 1, all the weapons are like balanced, and there's no like objectively best weapon. I'm using the best like magic attack sword, but it is like trash for like physical damage.
After 5 years, doing who knows what?
Cloud.
Because he wants to finish what he started. He wants to reclaim his birthright and rule over the planet with Genova at his side.
After 5 years?
Man, playing this game after somewhat recently doing the FF8 Let's Play, it's like, what a phenomenal story compared to the dumpster fire. It's like relatively not ridiculous.
FF8 is just like, it has such a cool beginning, and I think the first disc is awesome, but then immediately the start of the second disc is just like, oh, Squall survived the icicle. Everything becomes just ridiculous and stupid.
There was like a...
Oh, well, you know, actually Squall is dead.
There was a 400 reply, thread I was reading the other day on FF8, I think I mentioned before. And literally everyone who was on FF8's side was like, well, Renoa equals Ultimecia. That's literally where you have to start with. And if you don't say that, then the game doesn't make any sense. And it's like, cool. So I have to accept some fan theory that Renoa equals Ultimecia.
And the fan theory...
No, the whole...
Like, Renoa literally is. I'm not saying that Ultimecia comes back and whatever. What they're saying is Renoa is unironically Ultimecia.
Yeah, that's what the whole game's about.
But they never say it, and it doesn't even make any sense. And actually, there's more...
they explain the whole thing.
Ultimecia's from like 500 years in the future.
No, they don't.
That's the whole succession of witches, of sorceresses.
I just played FF8, and they never explain that Renoa is Ultimecia.
They explain it plenty.
And there's more evidence to show that Quistis is Ultimecia, because Quistis' best blue magic is Pulsar... It's Pulsar something, and Ultimecia's best magic is also Pulsar, whatever it's called.
Actually, it's time compression.
I guess so.
Oh my gosh.
Probably did at one point.
I'm just saying.
What the hell are those blankets?
All that stuff was taken from
What are they doing?
They have to show her feet, dude.
That's how I lay in my bed at night. I just lay on top of the covers.
Get 'em?
My whispers.
Yeah, what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is the craziest part. Of
Also,
And,
Eris has like actual like clothes, but Tifa just wears the exact same thing.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, they're literally showing feet.
Yeah, I don't know why
Thank you.
would do this.
Thank you, Base.
As far
Because
as
you spent $70 on this game and you just like, listen, the feet crowd, like, it's probably 5% of people, but like they're very, very, very into it. So you gotta get that demographic.
5% is 1 out of 20 people. It has to be like 0.1%.
I'll
They
say
vote
one-
for barefoot.
I'll say 1%.
Yeah, they're in bed.
I'll say 1%.
They're in bed, but they're also.
But how
what
many?
What are you
how
doing?
many? How many?
What is everyone doing?
How many feet people would say that they're feet people, right? And at
Yes, that's
least,
true.
even anonymously, it's probably 1 out of 100 people, which means that like more so in real life.
You up?
I've heard it's as many as 1 in 3. And so what I would propose is everyone close your eyes.
Wait,
and we're all gonna raise our hand.
Wait,
if we're,
wait. You're saying it's 1 in 3, and there's
yeah,
there's 3 people in this room right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's where the joke is going.
Okay. What are we doing?
We're gonna close our eyes,
right.
and if we're a foot guy, it's totally
right.
anonymous.
All right.
Wake you?
We're gonna raise our hand.
All right, ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
Oh,
I thought the joke was Ben was gonna raise his hand. What? My eyes are closed. I wouldn't know.
Sure.
This part's almost over. I just want to get this conversation over with.
Well, Ben, I'm here, shoeless and sockless.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like my hideously deformed feet?
I was about to say, you have like a deformed toe and like...
Dude, my feet are awful.
It's because you like broke your toe and never went to the doctor about it.
Listen, and I also play flag football literally every
Yeah,
single
what-
week for years.
what
My
are you
feet are
doing?
awful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, feet people. Don't. If you have CIB Prime and you're watching the foot cam right now, I'm sorry.
The foot
The
cam.
foot cam. We actually just got age restricted, even though I always say that these videos are not made for children. Because why would a child want to listen to a bunch of people in their 30s complain about games?
Anyway.
There's something I need to
Well,
ask
it
you.
used to be a bunch of people in their 20s complaining about games about a decade ago.
I mean, maybe
Yeah,
half
no.
a decade ago for me.
Oh, I need some.
I saw
Wow,
you lying there.
that just hit.
What?
Saw
How
you
long it's
moving
been?
and
When did we
all
start?
the blood.
LP's 2013, I think.
I figured it was
I'm pretty
too
sure.
late.
Because one of our biggest videos is MLB The Show
That's right.
2013. So that means 2012, actually.
Oh,
Because
boy.
that always comes out a year in advance.
No, the MLB games come out the same year.
Oh, yeah, you're
It's
right.
the
You're right.
only
they do.
sports games that
You're
does
right,
that.
you're right. Okay, so yeah, 2013. Some people say that Brandon still never practiced Mario 64.
Remember when Brandon started at Luigi's Mansion and it was such a train wreck that he stopped?
Because he was
And then-
doing it blind, and we have like an hour to do it.
And I stepped in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I got the best ending in Luigi's Mansion, although I practiced that game a lot.
Literally, the only games I don't practice ahead of time are Let's Tries. And even then, we sometimes get comments where people are like, you guys don't know how to play this game. And I'm like, what does CIB Let's Try mean?
Yeah.
The video is 15 minutes long, and we're always like, this is our first time playing this. And someone's like, you should have known how to do this.
You
It's like,
basically-
okay.
You're, as a viewer, you're doing the bare minimum amount of reading by looking at the title. And one of the words is try.
Well, they could also just listen to us say, "Oh, this is the first time we tried this."
Yeah.
Oh, someone was super mad at some vertical shooter I played recently. They were like not happy the fact I didn't realize it was like Ikaruga, and you could switch between the two and like absorb the one color, but it wasn't like
Obvious?
super obvious. Yeah. Oh, it was that really rare Dreamcast game. What's that called? Gun Cannon 2 or something like that.
Cannon Spike?
Is that it? I played it recently. No, it's something 2.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't really listening. I don't remember.
Someone, Gigawing.
Too, yeah.
Someone was upset. They were like, "What?" And I was like, "This game looks really cool, but I have no experience with it." And they were like, "What?"
It was also such a traditional like bullet hell, which is like the worst type of shoot 'em up.
I got like 2 levels through. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty good for never playing it. And also, I always start out all those videos saying, I'm not very good at these. You didn't set a world record on your first try? Strimmer, please.
Wow, you're really walking through doors and getting a few lines of dialogue.
This game does, just like the original game, after the Kalm Flashbacks, it gets much better.
Copy.
But they had to go out of their way because this...
Why are these beds so low?
Because this is the start of a new game. They had to specifically have a scene where it's like, okay, Cloud and Tifa have a falling out so they can start at square one again.
Is that literally his first line in the entire game?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Red, at least
Crazy.
from where I am, Red does not talk a lot.
He's a animal of few words.
Dog, a few words.
He opens up a lot in Cosmic Canon, but you're very far away.
One of these years I'll get to it. I can't wait to see Kat Shi or whatever. How his voice is.
They literally just say Kate Sith.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Seriously? Oh, wow.
And
I'm honestly surprised.
They announced that on Twitter and everyone was mad. And I was like, pissed.
So Eris Bros we lost, but Kate Sith Bros we keep winning. We keep winning. All right, guys. So that's it for FF7. First sit down.
That was awesome. Thanks for having me back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Ben's gonna have to come back again because
I need more Tifa.
The game opens up way more after that. That was just kind of like almost the prologue.
And what I want to do is that weekend LPs we'll do FF7, so it's just a plan around that, I guess.
Ben can actually come.
Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.